but yeah, I'm single. Yeah. So the worst thing that I find about dating is like that really unfair double standard between men and women when it comes to like multiple sexual partners. So like when a girl says she has sex with a lot of guys compared to like if I say I've had sex with a lot of girls, people often say things to me like, "You're a fucking liar, no you haven't." Like they say things like poking people on Facebook doesn't count. And I think that I'm fuckable. Not a funny part, but thank you. Last Halloween, like I dressed up as the Incredible Hulk. Like I spent 2 hours in the mirror with green body paint just to get the look right. And a lot of girls came up to me and said that I look just like Shrek. Thank you for that. That was good. I know. Yeah, I'm not great at women. Like the only time I've managed to convince a girl to move in with me is on Minecraft. And Minecraft's alright for getting puss. But obviously, I don't want to stop you laughing. But obviously the best dating website is LinkedIn. Yeah, because LinkedIn, it tells you the important things about people, like if they're a team player, like you can check their references.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think that more people. Hey guys, welcome to the comedy. If there are seats in the front row all around, I'm very friendly. I will not pick on you. I think that more people should go to therapy. Because I get a discount if I go in a group. So I've been going to therapy for the past 2 years. Thank you. It's largely about like my anxiety over climate change. Because like it's a lot. It turns out that it's a lot easier and cheaper to go to therapy than it is trying to get China or Russia to reduce their emissions. A lot easier. Generally in the therapy they suggest kind of like talking to other like-minded people and taking action. But going to protests and supergluing myself to things also gives me anxiety. Like the cure for anxiety shouldn't be get arrested. I've performed at a few different Extinction Rebellion protests in London and unpaid, obviously. I got a lot of super glue, which is good. I found out that I'm not great at protesting. Like any time that I was stopped by police, I was always like, I'm not with them. I'm pro-extinction. Set fire to the ice caps, am I right? Not everyone high fives that, so I appreciate it. But yeah, but there are like some good news. I mean, like as the climate crisis like continues to get worse, there's people coming up with a range of solutions, and one of the solutions is something called cultured meat, which is meat produced from cells in a lab. The first cultured meat was a hamburger that someone ate in 2013, but scientists say that in the next 2 decades, cultured meat could be cheaper and more readily available than regular meat, saving billions of animals from unnecessary death, and of course saving billions of humans from being vegan. The future is not too bad, it's like that's so positive. Clearly I'm not a vegan, but I love animals. Like I think they're delicious. Like bacon, chicken, like especially chicken. Chicken is amazing. But I'm trying to be better. Like I'm trying to be better educated. Like I watched Cowspiracy on Netflix. Yeah, there is a room in the front. I'm super friendly. I will not pick on you. I promise. So has anyone here seen Cowspiracy? So a couple of people in the back. There was like quite a bit of space there. I should say it now that it's kind of like a break. For the new people that came in, so this is being recorded in the next section. I have to say that it's a documentary for one of the comedians. It is not OnlyFans. Depends how much money you get. I mean, He says it's not OnlyFans. That's where I am at with it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I watched Cowspiracy, and like basically I learned that like cheese is really bad for you, cow milk is really bad for you,
Dang it.
egg yolk is really bad for you.
Dang it.
I didn't learn anything else. Like I stopped watching before it could ruin any more food. Ignorance is bliss. Bliss is cheese.
Amen.
Hallelujah. So yeah, and it kind of feels a little bit sometimes like the end of the world, but like the end of the world means different things to different people. So like the Christians believe that during the end of the world, everyone who's lived a good life, who's been a good person, will get sent to heaven. So maybe about 20% of Christians.
Not wrong.
Very generous.
Okay, hypothetically, if that happened next week, like say like the Christian apocalypse, who here thinks that they wouldn't get raptured? Like they'd stay on the planet? Lady in the is it Chicago Bulls t-shirt?
It's actually a Scotland shirt.
Oh, nice. Then I've been here less than a year. I did not know they had buffaloes in Scotland. I was like, what is your name?
Lydia.
Lydia. So, Lydia, how long is it? I just want to say firstly, like, you don't need to worry. Like, I took an online course and I'm now an ordained priest. I didn't have to do anything involving children. I just had to fill out some forms. It was easy. Did it in a day. So, Lydia, how long has it been since your last confession?
I've never confessed.
You've never confessed. Are you sorry for your sins since birth?
Some of them.
I want to remind you, Lydia, that like at this point it's hell on earth outside. So like there's like fires raining from the sky, demons are walking the earth.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Dementors are flying around, sucking the souls from people's faces. I think that's wrong book. Anyway, point is, like, it's not a good time outside. Would you say you're sorry for
Yeah,
your
I'm
sins?
very sorry.
Lydia, you are forgiven.
Thank you.
Heaven, boom. Anyone else? I have to warn you that there's a chance that this is all made up. It's far more practical trying to get a seat on Elon Musk's rocket. So I'll tell a bit more about me. So I'm a millennial. Do you have any millennials in? You got a few. I think 37 or 38 is the cutoff. But yeah, I just want to say I'm not a typical millennial. I like gluten. Yeah, we baby boomers like often say to our generation, like, we don't know how lucky we have it. Like when they were kids, they used to drink water out of a hose.
Yeah. It's a fast water.
And that's confirmation. And all of their porn was just magazines. They're like, you kids don't know, you millennials don't know how lucky you have it. Like, have grown up with a device in your pocket which can like order food to wherever you are, order a car and pick you up and take you wherever you're going, watch Disney Plus, like, and be able to instantly stream porn from anywhere.
This is the best. I'm sorry.
It is, I absolutely agree. All of those things are amazing. But I prefer a house. Some of these jokes are just insightful. And yeah, I love the fact that they're like you can instantly stream porn. I think that's amazing, but I would prefer not to need to do OnlyFans to afford my rent. That's what I'm doing here. Come see me after the show for details. Is the main reason that I'm here. But yeah, I think of a lot of millennials like are obsessed with their phones. Like that's the main stereotype. But I think like that's because like phones are the best thing in the world, apart from like social media, which is like bad for us on our mental health. But like phones used to be terrible. Like they used to be attached to the wall. Like you couldn't even watch YouTube on them. I can pay for things with my phone, check the weather report, watch Disney Plus. Like, I have an app that tells me the perfect time to pee during a movie.
What?
It's called Run Pee. Changed my life. You're not laughing, you're learning.
Taking notes.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I use my phone a lot. I do a lot of online food shopping. Like, I kind of get high and go shopping a lot. So, like, there's always, like, way too many people. Now I wake, bake, and buy way too many snacks from Asda.com the way God intended. So a lot of it is real. Yeah, you can download it. It is pretty good. I mean, it doesn't always update cinema movies, but pretty much everything else it gives you like the best times. So again, see, it's not just laughter you get from this show. There's information, so like it's pretty good. But yeah, we've been called the worst generation by people who forgot like how bad Britain was.
Yeah.
It's like previous generations turned Australia into a prison and then forced the majority of the world to do the missionary position. In case God was watching them. Because apparently anal makes God very angry. Which is why I'm no longer religious. Yeah, I was raised Christian though, but I couldn't manage to wake up early on Sundays anymore. And my parents were suspicious of the priest. Like, that was the main reason. It's alright guys, he's in a different church now. Guys, this is a comedy gig, not a church. Like, you're not gonna go to hell for laughing. Like, he's the one going to hell. Plus, I like Christianity as a religion. Like, I think it's quite interesting. Like, it's a religion where you can say or do whatever you want, as long as you ask for forgiveness afterwards. So if there are any Christians in the room and you're offended by any of this material, I want to ask you to forgive me. It's what Jesus would do. Checkmate. So I went to a mosque. Like, I'm not Muslim. Like, I went to a mosque to write a joke about going to a mosque. So generally as a comedian, I'm encouraged to make fun of religion, but I don't really want to do that because I think religion can be a great unifier. Like, it can connect people from all kind of differences with a shared idea that there's something larger than ourselves. And then there's Scientology. That went down so much better at the mosque. So I recently found Jesus.
Woo! Yeah.
Thank you. He's an Australian guy that I met at the hostel. He's a fun Jesus. Like, he has like brown skin, long hair, so he looks like what Jesus would actually look like, coming from a place as hot as the Middle East. Plus he gives poignant speeches and has 12 people that follow him around. So one of my favourite times with Jesus is when we went to the Museum of Jesus in South Kensington, because he's a narcissist. So we smoked a joint outside. We went in. He got stopped at random by security. He was pretty stoned. And they patted him down. They made him stand like this. And they found a bag of weed, and they were like, "What is this?" And he replied, "Blessed be are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy." Come on, guys. What would Jesus do? He's now banned from the museum. Yeah, it's when I told my parents that I found Jesus in the hostel, they were so happy. They were so proud. They were like, "Oh my God, amazing, a positive influence." And here's a positive influence. To do more LSD. Yeah, I used to think that the high of performing stand-up comedy was like the biggest high that you could get. Like a bigger high than any drug. Then I did acid. Not true. But yeah, I think acid is like it's a different category to most drugs. So it's kind of like a value-changing drug. So it can kind of change how you see yourself, how you see others, how you see nature, and it can kind of break down the story you tell yourself about who you are, and probably is the quickest path to a spiritual revolution for us all to connect on a deep level. But if there's any police here, then I did acid before 1960 when it was legal. And it was blessed by Jesus. So during an acid trip with Jesus, I realized that pretty much everyone regularly struggles with insecurities. So everyone either has parts of themselves or their life that they don't like, and you can't ever get rid of that. But it's a choice to focus on it. So if you choose to focus on the things you don't like about yourself and your life, you'll feel insecure. If you choose to focus on the things you do like about yourself or your life, you'll feel pride and happiness. Now this concept applies to most things. If you choose to focus on the things you like about other people, you'll react positively. If you choose to focus on what you don't like about them, you'll react negatively. Where focus goes, energy flows. Whatever you focus on regularly and repeatedly becomes your reality. And we can all choose to change what we focus on to something more inclusive, something a little bit more compassionate towards other people. And if enough people do that collectively, then the social fabric of society kind of changes. I guess what...
Where's the comedy show?
Okay, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think the world would be a much better place if more people did acid with Jesus. So yeah, I live in Leith. Anyone here from Leith?
Yes.
Nice. Whereabouts?
Pilrick Park.
I'm like near the bottom of Leith Walk, so I'm kind of like near next. Yeah, and by Wetherspoons. Like, if you guys don't know Newcastle Wetherspoons, that's kind of why I chose there. So would you say that area of Leith is rough? For the purposes of this joke, would you say the area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I got accosted by children.
You got accosted by children. So for the majority of the crowd that don't know, the best way I can describe Leith is 2 weeks ago I saw a pigeon with a joint in its mouth. A joint. And now that pincher is my weed dealer. He does deliveries. Deliver here. I smoke a lot of weed. Like some people say, like it badly affects memory, and just a random piece of paper. But yeah, when I first moved to before I moved to Leith, and by the way, I want to say I live at the bottom of Leith Walk, so every day is an uphill battle. That sounds sarcastic. But yeah, before I lived in Edinburgh, I lived in Australia for a couple of years, and I lived there during the gay marriage vote, and I actually met someone who voted no to gay marriage. It wasn't a gay guy terrified of commitment. I don't want to stop you laughing. His main fear was that if gay people got married, then people will start marrying animals.
What?
Exactly. And I think that's the best thing that could happen. Like, hear me out. So I think people should marry animals because it's the best and quickest way to catch the people having sex with animals. I'm just saying, if you're willing to marry an animal, you've clearly been having sex with it for a long time, like without being caught. Like marriage has always caused people to have less sex. Basically, the main reason that I'm here is to pass around my pro-animal marriage petition. Around the room. It's completely anonymous. You don't need to sign it, it's fine, it's just a prop. I don't know, I think like homophobia, it's much more of a hatred than as a fear, like a hatred of something which is different. Like if only those people realized how amazing a prostate orgasm is. Like the world would have a lot less hate and longer, thank you, and longer and more intense orgasms.
Oh, here.
I'm also available to book for children's parties. So as a comedy, I think is meant to reflect society, and I love looking in the mirror. It's my favourite way to reflect. And I like doing comedy. I've been doing comedy for about 10 years now. I started when I was at uni. When other university students went to like clubs and raves, like I went to Manchester and Liverpool to tell jokes to like. Oh, thank you. I don't know what that is. What is that? that just happened. Where was it?
When you were in uni.
Oh yes, yeah. So I was doing stand up at uni.
Getting goofy.
Yeah. So when when other university students went to like clubs and raves, like I went to Manchester and Liverpool to tell jokes to like 30 people above a pub. Like laughter was my drug. I later found out MDMA is much better. Much better. I like doing comedy. Like I think comedy is one of the greatest unifiers. Like it can connect people from all kind of differences with laughter. Like American, Scottish, English, Australian, everybody hates Liz Truss. Am I right? Yes. But like overall, we live in like a bit of a divided time. So there's like a lot of people trying to get us to like hate immigrants. Like the far right often say that they're taking our jobs and bringing in drugs. Well, you're ahead of me. I hate jobs, and I love drugs. I think drugs are amazing. So like, if there are people bringing drugs into the UK, like I fully support that. So I don't know how to make drugs. But immigrants are just people born in a different part of the planet. Like no one chooses where they're born. Like if I could choose where I was born, I'd obviously be born in a manger in Bethlehem, surrounded by wise men, and despite living in a really hot country, still somehow have the complexion of an Eskimo. Like, apart from Michael Jackson, no one chooses their skin color, economic class, or where they happen to be born. Like everyone's lives is largely just a gamble, and we're all just trying to do the best what we have. Like, and most people don't even get the opportunity to exist. They're killed by masturbation. Some of these jokes are just insightful. I don't know. We, as I understand, it's like we can always change the story we tell ourselves about who we are and kind of connect with each other. But I understand as like a straight white middle class male, like I don't understand that much about white privilege, mainly because I'm white. But I googled it. And I accept that I receive preferential treatment from police. People rarely ask to touch my hair.
Yeah.
And I'm never invited to the fun churches. But I accept that as a straight white middle class male, that the closest thing I've come to experiencing discrimination is not being liked by people from Sunderland. So for the Americans, we have like a bit of a rivalry between Newcastle and Sunderland. I don't know. We don't like. We can all kind of connect with each other. Like we don't need to compare or compete against each other because life isn't a competition. Like it's a personal and separate experience for everyone, and people don't win. Everyone just dies or is killed by masturbation. It's ironic that a joke about death dies. I'm a feminist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to think that I'm a good feminist. Like, I hate glass ceilings. I think they're dangerous. Yeah, I think women aren't given enough praise for dealing with periods. Like, I know I wouldn't handle it well. I don't handle nosebleeds well. But like, if guys got periods, we'd be talking about it a lot more. So like, we'd get the week off work. Tampons would be free and available everywhere. And any time they went into a men's bathroom, it would just look like there was a massacre. Just blood everywhere. But yeah, there's a lot of sexism in the world. Personally, I've never catcalled anyone, but I have shouted at people on the street. Like, I've shouted things like 10 comedians, free comedy show. If you don't laugh, you get your money back. But yeah, and the world is like a much better place when women are empowered more. So like, currently there's over 70 million girls that aren't in school or higher education, and studies show that when women have access to school, work opportunities and reproductive health services, that they have far less children and much later in life. And as a collective, this slows down the population growth rate, there's less competition for resources, and society improves in many different ways. If you're not laughing, you're learning. Yeah, but there are some fundamental differences between men and women. So like, women make people. Women don't have a recurring problem with getting their genitals trapped in a vacuum cleaner. And women go to the toilet together, like often in groups. And the only logical explanation for that is women are always carrying around cocaine. Like, I used to think that women used to go to the toilet together to talk and support each other through difficult poos. But I realized if I went to the toilet with a group of guy friends and they didn't have cocaine, because I have the cocaine. If you guys come down. But yeah, I wish more people identified as feminists. These jokes would be landing a lot better. Where men and women look at ourselves by their similarities instead of their differences, because men and women will always have far more in common than we have differences. Like we all do difficult poos, am I right? Thank you.
We all have constipation.
We all have constipation. I don't know about all. The royal, but I don't know if the. But yeah, I don't know, the term toxic masculinity has been mentioned a lot over the past couple of years. Like the idea that guys can't express feelings or vulnerability without alcohol. And like sometimes it gets really bad. Like sometimes I'll just try and hug a guy and he'll be like, no homo. And then I have to be like, dude, that erection had nothing to do with you. This happens sometimes. But yeah, I don't want you to think that I think masculinity is generally toxic. Like, I think it's down to the person and the individual. So like, some guys want to be big and strong so they can have power over others and dominate them. Some guys want to be big and strong so they can protect people, like firefighters.
Yeah.
And some guys pay women in leather to burn their penises with lit cigarettes and call them worthless. Everybody's different. I'm a modern man. Like I cook, I clean, I give exceptional head.
Cheers!
Are you single?
My ex-girlfriend used to really like putting a finger in my butt. Just like, my prostate is fine, get away from there. I don't care what Cosmo tells you. Which is what I would say if it wasn't amazing. Am I right, bro? Yeah. Which finger was it? We'll talk after the show. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, like sex isn't something to be embarrassed about. Like sex is something that like we all do here. Like the first time that I did sex to someone, it was a lot like the first time I ever performed at a gig. Like I was nervous. I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I had to wait. The other guy's there to finish. It was a gangbang. I first started doing sex to the girls when I was 19. Like it took me such a long time to get the money. I've never had a bad blowjob. I've never had a good blowjob. I don't think I've had a blowjob. Just jokes, guys. I just want to say to any of, does anybody here comment on porn videos? And guys at the back, please do not feel like deterred by that comment. This is a very hey guys, you guys just came from Canada. A round of applause for our two new audience members. But yeah, and despite what people's kind of like sexual experiences are here in the room, like sex is meant to be enjoyed. Like we're one of the few species to have sex for pleasure, and one of the only species to have BDSM. That we're aware of. And did you know that the clitoris is the only part of the human body specifically designed to give pleasure? Mm-hmm. It has no other function. So it's a good thing that it's easy to find.
Are you single?
Jordan, this is the best show that I've done here in months. It's very, very good. See, I kind of find it crazy that like people are put in prison for like protesting climate change. Like during like extreme weather events and heat temperature rises, like whatever happened, don't shoot the messenger. Like, whatever happens, just don't hurt Greta Thunberg. Like I really wanted to see this show. If you guys don't know who Greta Thunberg is, she's famous for starting a school strike. She's famous for saying that she's not going to go back to school until world leaders take serious action on the climate crisis. Okay, because what is the point of going to school? Mm-hmm. There's no future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or she was bullied. And she's just in far too deep. I'm not going to go back to school until all the damage done to the planet since the Industrial Revolution has been reversed, or the people bullying me move schools. Whatever comes first. I don't know, one solution to a lot of these societal ecological problems is simple. Like we all know it. Killing everyone over 75 just once. just once, just a one-time call. I apologize anyone over 75 in the room. Not you. Fine, if you think about it, like the money from the pensions going to the economy, cost of living crisis largely reduced, like housing crisis largely reduced, racism largely reduced. Like 75 is a long life anyway. So, I want to make this clear. This is a comedy show. I'm not generally suggesting this. I'm not writing to my MP. My personal opinion is I think that we need like large-scale collective action now. I think like history proves that when enough people get together, we can achieve almost anything. So I think this is the best time in history for us to kind of connect on a mass scale and kind of like if one person plants a tree a day, that has a very small impact. But if 1 million plant a tree every day, huge impact. So we can have a huge impact if we all kind of come together and work together. Like the lines that separate different bits of land which make countries are all imagined.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like I'm going to start singing John Lennon. Hopefully I'm not the only one. My favourite joke of the show. It's my favourite joke. So this next song is about how strong get together. I have climate anxiety and I can't contain it. I let my rhymes and jokes try to explain it. The IPCC said it's code red for humanity. Insanity. They said we're not doing enough to avoid calamity. And the further I go down this thread, the more tears I shed. And tears lead to fears, which lead to beers. But it's hard to cheers with your peers when scientists say that CO2 levels are the highest they've been in 2 million years. I need more beers. The ones I have already have too many tears in them, but it could be the brand. It's unequivocal that human influence have warmed the atmosphere, ocean and land. Like, we need to slow down population growth. Boris Johnson already has too many kids. They say that 1% of the population controls most of the power and the resources, which is why we, the 99%, need to come together to kill the 1%. Who would have thought greed would end up killing our species? Probably this gruesome Squid Game. But right now the planet's tipping points are more like slipping points, with all the politicians tripping at the stripping joints. There's no joke there, just amazing rhyming structure. Nature should be protected. We're all going to be affected, like subjected to climate disasters, neglected after food shortages. This is all projected. The data is being collected from respected scientists and institutions. Intense climate breakdown is expected. But at least we have Disney Plus. There's so many great shows on there. Like Avatar 2 came out, like all the American Horror Story. It is. I should say at this point that I'm not sponsored by Disney. Yes. Anyway. People should worship nature like they do with religion, because our new Messiah can be Gaia, because Earth has divine worth. So let's give birth to a movement which helps enhance the Earth. Like more people, more girth. Everyone loves girth. Like we all need to come together for collective action right now, like a spiritual revolution to remind us that kindness can bind us all together. Or we kill the 1%. It feels more like a rally than I mean, like, one of the main reasons for the past few generations that like people have like really kind of like economically struggled is because of like how much money the top 1% have. So, which sounds like a super simple solution, but apparently it's unfair for the super wealthy to give some of their hundreds of billions to the poor. And I can't imagine what it must be like giving up half my private jet. Because I can never afford one. There's like our society has like never been more unsustainable than it is now. So, like the past 30 years, we've put over half the carbon that we've ever put in the history of our species in the last 30 years. Our society's never been more unsustainable, and all the facts say we're heading to like societal collapse, food shortages, and a temperature rise that I'm personally not prepared for. But Disney Plus has just uploaded a new Marvel movie, so we'll balance it out. Basically, my point is, buy Disney Plus. There's probably some people here thinking that their contribution to helping fight climate change is not going to have that much of an impact. They're right. Individually, but the more people working on something, the bigger the impact. And we've never needed such a collective impact now. So if we all collectively make different choices, we can change the world very, very quickly with enough people. Like we're a social creature. We're the happiest and our strongest when we have a strong sense of community and something which connects all of us together, like Tinder. we're on the same boat. We're on the same planet. We're affected by the same stuff. It's like we're on the Titanic together. Like we can see the iceberg. It's getting closer. It's becoming clearer. Hands up for do we either A, kind of like kill the 1%, take their lifeboats and like their rockets and bunkers. Hands up for A. There's quite a few for A. Jordan, you seem like you're potentially going to raise your hand. Okay, and hands up for option B. we all collectively kind of work together, like forget about kind of like economic status and like class, and just all kind of like collectively work towards one goal, trying to avoid the iceberg. Hands up for B. So much less for B. So people who voted A, please see me after the show. Is this something that needs to be done yesterday? So that is the show, the first half. I just want to say, if anyone here wants to follow me after this gig, it's at Andrew Tudman 2 on OnlyFans, Tinder, Bumble. So we have the wonderful Jordan Scully, who's emceeing the second section. Firstly, round of applause for everyone you saw in the first section. Round of applause for yourselves for staying out. So we're going to take a quick 5-10 minute break and be back with the second section. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon.